Welcome back to our festive episode of Temporally Scripted. You can see I've got the tree out here. It's a very high quality tree. It cost me $1 from the local shop. Now today, me and Adam are going to be talking about looking at birds on the cruise, Ozempic coming to India, and Robo-Taxis running riot all over London, as well as a potential war kicking off between Mexico and the UK. So we've got some huge news stories today. Thank you for joining us for this festive season. And guess who I've got with me today, who's also looking very festive? It's Adam Garcia.
It is indeed. Hello, everybody. I also have a very nice tree. I think mine might have been $2.50, but that's the kind of high, festive, spirited kind of guy I am.
You can see the sort of year Adam's had over there. He's paid 2.5 times the amount of my Christmas tree. But yeah, mine's also football club themed, so it's like Portsmouth colours. You know, it's doing it for me.
I thought that tree was a lot bigger. I didn't realize at first it was like so far in the foreground. It's kind of like, have you ever seen that Father Ted thing where he's talking to Dougal and he's got like a toy cow? He's in a caravan. He's like, no, Dougal, these ones are small. Those ones are far away. it's really good.
What a series that was. Yeah, absolute genius. I remember it well. Yeah, so this is what I thought. I'd optical illusion by this. And really, it's about as big as the Christmas tree that's in London, that, you know, the gift that keeps giving every year. Do you know about this? In London, they get their Christmas tree.
Wasn't it from Norway or something like that?
Yeah, they definitely don't like us very much.
Right. Is it just like a branch now?
Basically, it's just like a big, long, thin Christmas tree. And I saw a meme, actually, of like Poland's 10th biggest city's Christmas tree and then London's Christmas tree. And like, it looked like this one in Poland was 10 times better than this one in London.
I can kind of imagine that. Again, I don't know what's going on there, but a lot of standards seem to be slipping in all kinds of walks of life.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's just for some reason they want to give us the crappiest tree they can come up with. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about.
Kind of trying to, almost like a sort of passive aggressive kind of thing, how to cause like an offense without really being offensive.
Yeah,
everyone's saying it out loud.
Everyone's just really sore still about the empire and all of that stuff. I mean, I think it's about time they just let it go, you know? Anyway, moving on. It was a long time ago. We've moved on from that now. We've let you all speak our language. Anyway, moving on back to what we're talking about today. So Ozempic is a weight loss drug for those of you that don't know, and it's just launched in India. So you're at a point where now you can go out, you can get your chapatis, you get your papadums, a nice vindaloo, and on the way home, a couple of Ozempic. And it's only going to be $24.35 a week, which is, you know, about a year's salary for a large portion of India. But for some people, it's not quite so difficult, and they will be able to access this weight loss drug.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure we've actually fact-checked that information about the average wage in India, but maybe it's close, who knows? But yeah, I mean, $24 a week actually sounds pretty expensive.
Yeah,
like $100 a month.
Yeah, I mean, I spend that's almost what I spend on Starbucks.
Which, man, that's a lot of coffee. Jeez.
But yes.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We've never really spoken much about Ozempic and the other kind of weight loss drugs. It's do you have any major thoughts on those kind of medical interventions, I guess we could call them?
So my brother actually was taking Ozempic for a period of time, and it worked really well for him. But I just think it's cheating. The way that I reference it is, I don't know if you've ever been to North Wales, but in North Wales, the biggest mountain in North Wales is called Snowdon. And Snowdon has got like a couple of 3 or 4 tracks up that you can take, and they're all fairly challenging. But when you get to the top, there's a coffee shop where the train takes people. And for me, that just ruins the whole mountain. It's like
Oh,
if
okay.
you can't walk up it with your own legs, you should stay at the bottom. It's
And
not for
just
you.
you'd ban people from going up there. No,
Yeah, no
dismantle
train.
the train tracks.
Yeah, that's it. Just take it down, right? It's not for you. I shouldn't. If I've spent 4 hours walking up a mountain, I should not have to share the summit with somebody eating a Greg's sausage roll. It's just not the way it
Yeah,
should
just
be.
waddling around with his pasty or whatever. It's not quite
Chomping
right.
on an Ozempic and that. It's like that's just not cool.
I mean, it is kind of, it's interesting you say that, because do you remember for a while there was kind of like the sort of big like body positivity kind of movement, and it was kind of, oh, it's all right to be like massively overweight and things like that. But all of those people that were massively overweight and like promoting that thing, like people like Lizzo or whatever else, all of a sudden Ozempic comes along and body positivity isn't really a thing anymore, because it's like, oh, what, I can get like normal sized without any effort. And all of a sudden it's like, but I thought you said big was beautiful and you should be like this. And so now apparently not.
I've changed my mind now because there's an easy way to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, just, I don't know if this gets us in trouble or not. It shouldn't really, but that whole body positivity thing just seemed really crazy, because it's kind of, if I started like a driving liberation movement and I said, okay, I'm going to promote this thing. If you have any kind of vehicle, drive as fast as you want, stop at red lights if you feel like it, never wear a seatbelt or a helmet or anything like that. People would go, that's nuts. That's really dangerous. That'll kill people. But if I promote something where I said, oh no, like big is beautifully, if you're morbidly obese, amazing. That's a beautiful way to be. You should encourage that because it's diverse and it's fine. That's dangerous. That causes diabetes, heart attacks, and a whole host of other terrible conditions.
You do realize the driving analogy you just gave is basically Southeast Asia's driving situation.
Basically.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like, why encourage it? It's the same, now we look more into things like sugar and the impact of having too much sugar in your life and how it makes you feel, but in the longer run, how it can cause cancers and all of these other things. And to then just say, oh no, it's cool, you can eat as much sugar as you want and eat as much like fat and whatever as you want, and don't worry about how many calories you take in, because you can just pop these pills now and you're all good.
Yeah. And I wonder as well, how much research has actually been done, and how much do we know about long-term effects of these kinds of drugs? Because they're fairly new. Do we know what happens when someone takes them for over a prolonged period? Because I'm sure there'll be some people that take it for a while, lose the weight, get off them. There'll be some people that just keep going with it. And I don't know what that does to everything else, like muscle, bone density, connective tissue, a whole host of other things, and just a digestive thing as well, because it's making the food move more slowly through your gut. And that's not really as nature intended.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's fine because they always heavily test everything before they start giving it to humans, and they wouldn't give us something if it was going to cause us any problems down the line.
Same here. I have a lot of faith, and I know that there's never been any huge like lawsuits or anything in the past to do with pharmaceutical companies or things that they've made. So I'm sure it's 100% safe. We wouldn't be able to access it otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. But what about the other side of it? So, the talk is that people taking this now, it means that they can avoid getting diabetes or dying from diabetes and all of this kind of stuff. Like, if it's in a situation where somebody does have this kind of issue, I can see them why there is maybe a little bit more value to it. But again, I think it's a symptom of a broken system, isn't it? Where we don't know how to educate people around food and exercise well enough for them to take it seriously enough for us not to end up in this situation where we all eat too much and consume too much, you know?
Yeah, I guess that whole thing is a symptom of other issues more broadly in society. Uh, it is good in so many ways that we have these kind of medications, though, where someone who is in a state where they're morbidly obese, it's like a danger to their own health. If we can intervene with something like that, and then that just drops their weight rapidly and alleviates a lot of potential problems. I mean, these things are absolute lifesavers, lifesavers for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is like a natural alternative that they could test out. They could start releasing,
Walking.
you know, yeah, well, walking, yeah. But also if they, you know, you start releasing like lions and stuff and bears and whatnot, just like urban lions and urban bears, that I
Right.
think would increase people's, you know, cardiovascular activity.
Yeah, sort of like rewilding of developed countries or every
Yeah,
country, really. Yeah, good call. A few
any
more
urban area.
snakes.
Yeah,
Maybe with, I mean, maybe as well working on a lot of cool sciencey things where we're bringing back extinct species or trying to, like the dodo, the dire wolf, maybe some velociraptors or something like that, hanging around in the city center. But that keeps people on the toes.
totally. Because then you're going to think, shall I have this extra Five Guys or? But then I might put on a bit of extra weight, and one of those raptors is going to catch me on the way home. Plus, I'm
And
going to
rolling-
smell like tasty burgers, which is not what you want, you know?
And we're always going to pick off like the slowest member of the herd. So, yeah.
Exactly. So it solves so many problems.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much cleared it up, really. Ditch Ozempic and bring back dangerous predators to the city centre. Although there's
Yeah.
probably quite a few of them anyway.
Well, this is it. Maybe, you know, the people are probably still more scary than the velociraptors. So, but yeah, maybe we need more tracksuit clad and youths in city centres.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember not after, once it gets to like nighttime or after like 12 p.m. or something like that on a Saturday evening, it's not so great.
Someone sat in the bus stop sucking their teeth at you going, don't I know you, mate? Hey, mate.
Hey, mate.
Don't I know you,
Get
mate?
there.
Yeah. Not cool. And yeah, so let's move on to the next story. Well, speaking of city centres and developments, obviously not developments such as reintroducing velociraptors or more chavs, robo-taxis. And this is really cool. So robo-taxis are coming to London. Two companies are bringing them in. So Uber and Lyft plan driverless taxi trials in London in 2026. And the biggest question that I have about this is, how are British people going to do their road rage if there's robo-taxis? Like, there's got to be someone to go and shout at or go out the window at, you know, otherwise you've taken away one of the key parts of British culture, which is being very, very angry and vocal at someone while inside your very, very safe and secure locked glass box.
Where nobody can get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's that, but also there's another part of British culture. You know, in London, where to be an official black cab driver, you had to do the knowledge. You had to know basically the entire map of the city of London and how to go everywhere, which actually made those guys like super qualified and knowledgeable in a lot of ways. But yeah, you introduce robo-taxis, and that's also a thing of the past.
Yeah, I've seen those guys when they're training. So normally when they're training, what they'll do is they'll go around on a scooter, and they have like a full map on the front of the scooter, and they're just driving around learning the roads with like the map in a square. Have you ever seen them?
Huh. I've never seen that, no.
Yeah, so they're driving around, I guess because it would take so much longer if you were doing that in a car. And you probably have to remortgage your house to pay the London surcharge that you have to pay when you drive through the city centre. So it's probably like $100,000 a year or something these days.
It's more
plus
than going
tax.
to university in America or something.
Yeah. It's like parking, congestion charge plus tax. It's like, wait, hold on. Is that not tax plus tax? Like something's not right here. Something's got to give, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? You're taxing me on my tax.
We've added an extra 20% tax to your tax you've already paid or about to pay. It's nice.
Yeah, I feel like it just further gentrifies London as a city as well, because it's like you're not going to have people that are drivers and stuff. I mean, granted, you probably make good money being a taxi driver in London because it's like £75 to go a mile or something. But still, I feel like it's losing some of that culture and making it so you don't have to, speak to a cabbie.
Yeah. And I mean, also, I would imagine for tourists and things like that, you'd just be able to speak to it in any language or control it by your app or whatever it may be.
I also wonder how safe they're going to be, because we know like London is a place of like crazy cyclists, isn't it? Like the cyclists in London, they rage at people all the time. I mean, it's only a matter of time until one of these Robo-Taxis
but I mean, the thing is, what happens when you get these cyclists that are raging at these taxis, but the taxi is run by AI, and then there's some incident, but the taxi goes, no, here's my data. I did everything perfectly correctly. It was a cyclist that messed up and did everything wrong, which it probably would be, because it would be trained in a way to be better than a normal driver.
Yeah, so what you're saying is if it starts running over more cyclists, it's actually a good thing.
And it could be the cyclist's fault, and I don't know, it's some Darwinian content. No, I don't know.
It's like a way of controlling the roads. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're also, so they're made by a company in China, the Baidu Apollo Go RT6 vehicles.
Yeah, that's the bit I would find most concerning about all of it. Do you remember, like a few years ago? Oh, I can't remember the exact story, but I think it was Huawei. They were making something to do with mobile phone masts and other technologies associated with it.
Yeah.
But it kind of transpired that there was hardware within these things, which meant that the Chinese could basically hack into it and spy effectively. And so when they say they're partnering with whatever Chinese companies, from what I've heard, the majority of large Chinese companies are basically completely linked with the Chinese government. And so what are you going to do? Have an army, a huge fleet of these cars that's equipped with cameras, sound recording, everything else, that could just be a huge spying apparatus. And you could track individual people, because if you've got so many of these cars driving around the city, then one of them can be following some guy, and then that's gone. But then like another one passes, oh yeah, we can still see him, he's here. All kinds of things like that. Or you could intercept different things. I would say it's probably highly risky. And I hope that the government knows what it's doing when it's working with these companies, because we've had very bad experiences in the past.
Yeah, what they should do is go and talk to that guy, was it Ed the Shed? They should go and chat to Ed the Shed and say, listen, man, we don't want all these Chinese automated cars in the country. Could you figure something out similar to what you did with that shed? And we can try and automate that. And then I'm sure Ed the Shed knows, like,
I think he can do anything.
Back the tech can come round and in the shed and like program something on an old, I don't know, Atari or whatever. And even though that's not British either, but yeah, what's that? Remember those CS5 cars or whatever you used to get? The CS
was it Sinclair?
Sinclair C5, that's it. Yeah, we should I mean, he might be dead by now, but maybe he's got a son or something. They're techie,
he's also an inventor. Yeah,
bring knows? Dyson in, get Dyson involved somewhere. Just imagine that these things, they'd be incredible pieces of engineering. But
Yeah,
I mean,
words. It's, I mean, just going down that track a little bit, it is a shame that it's companies that aren't really British partnering with other companies to bring this to the streets of London. It's a shame it isn't some amazing UK company with another UK company, maybe with some help from someone else from outside. But it's a shame that it's all these companies from elsewhere, and that Britain doesn't seem to be leading the way so much in any of this.
yeah, because it's American companies bringing Chinese tech into streets probably mostly owned by Russian and Chinese people. There's known as London, you know.
But we still call it London, and I'm proud of my capital city. So,
we're proud of it. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Back to what we were saying there about the spying and stuff. You'd imagine that's the case with all tech, really. You'd imagine like when America make tech and they send it to other places. There's always that thought process of how could this be manipulated to our advantage.
yeah,
I don't know if you noticed, and we're not going to jump off into this story, but it's semi-related that the Americans said that Nvidia could start sending chips to China again, and China just went, yeah, no thanks, we're okay, we don't need them now.
We've already copied them.
Yeah. See ya. Don't worry about it. So Trump came out and said, oh yeah, you can have our chips again. They're like, yeah, no, it's all good, mate.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, also with these kinds of systems, how easy is it to hack them? Or also if they could be controlled by, say, like a foreign government, because it's linked to the businesses that run them, wouldn't that be the same as having like a sleeper cell of terrorists in a country? Because say something could kick off and they just go, okay, click the button, and then those cars start plowing into people or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, I heard we're safe because Ed the Shed knows a guy called Jack the Hack, and he's gonna he's in charge of the cybersecurity. So apparently it's all gonna be fine. But yeah, we will wait and see. It'll be interesting. I can't imagine driverless cars ever making their way to this side of the planet. So I think we'll be quite safe from driverless cars for quite some time on this part of the world.
It will take some time, I would think.
So moving on, AI for routines, which is a really awesome story. So you want to take us away with this one, Adam?
Yeah, so basically, it was just something I was reading the other day. I thought it was cool. So it's an article from Tom's Guide. And so basically, the writer just asked ChatGPT to redesign his morning routine. And yeah, so basically, he did a prompt, and it designed two of them. So it designed like a weekdays one, which was 6:50 to 7:50, and then a weekends one, which was like 8 till 10. But yeah, so basically what it did, it just included things like this. So the first 10 minutes, get up, no phone scrolling, drink water, open a window, have another 10 minutes where it's light movement, then go to the shower, get dressed, listen to a bit of a podcast, eat breakfast, then 10 minutes doing either a bit of reading or journaling or planning. And that was basically the first hour of his day. And what did he say? He said, yeah, it made the mornings more enjoyable. And he apparently felt a lot better for it. He said the weekend one wasn't so good because ChatGPT seemed to try to like heavily optimize it, like almost make him do more on a weekend. So he's just like, okay, let's make a lazier version.
Yeah, and I can see the problem with his weekends because he's having an extra hour and 10 minutes in bed, which you got to get up at the same time every day, whether it's a weekday or a weekend. Everyone knows that. Come on, ChatGPT should have come along and said, no, you're not allowed. You've got to wake up at the same time. You are not allowed to lie in. Just go to bed earlier.
Yeah, and it should have done. Maybe it should have known better, but it depends what version of ChatGPT he was using, or was it thinking? Who knows? So Well, unless you ask it specifically to take into account certain ideas and kinds of information, then it'll just take the most popular and just run with it anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because ChatGPT does weird things now where like I've set mine to be the direct version of ChatGPT. And before it gives me any answer, it's like, so here's the straight version, no fluff. And then it has to tell me that it's being direct, which ironically makes it indirect. It's like, I'm going to be really direct here. And then it says its thing. It's like, yeah, that's not really, just stop saying that. It drives me crazy. But no, back to this guy. I think the power of AI for routines, but also even for reflection and self-examination. I mean, not physically, but like in your brain and your worldviews and how you think about stuff, is a hugely powerful tool. I'm going to share something a little bit vulnerable. So for me, whenever I have like a coach or something, I'm much better at it these days, but I always find that I don't want to tell them the whole truth because I want them to think that I'm doing a good job. So if I turn up to a coach and they're like, oh, how's your morning routine going? I'm like, it's excellent. Amazing. Yeah. Up every day at the right time. They're like, you doing your grateful? Yeah. Yeah. Every day doing my grateful. Yeah. And I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I just don't want to turn up and feel like I've not done what I was supposed to do.
It's difficult, isn't it? Do you think that's like a thing from how we grow up being a kid? Sort of when your parent asks you something, it's like, oh yeah, it's going great. I've done all my homework. It's really good, this last bit of history homework that I've done. Or whether like teachers are grilling us about something, we kind of have to make excuses. I wonder if it comes from that in some ways.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's that need for almost external validation. It's like, instead of being happy with what you've done, because a mistake a lot of parents make is they, when their kids are like, do something good, they're like, oh, that's amazing. Well done. Good job. And actually that's like makes them more self-conscious than asking them how they feel about it and what they had to do to get it. Like, for example, my daughter recently, she's got really good at drawing. And I said to her the other day, people, please don't complain and comment. Well, you can, because we don't mind trolls. But I said, remember how rubbish you used to be at drawing, and now you're like really, really good. You should be proud of yourself, because the way you got good is by watching videos and applying stuff and learning stuff. And I said, that's how everything in life works. You know, it's not just about the things that you're naturally gifted at. It's that you can learn to be better at something over time through practice, through trial and error. And I think that's quite a new way of thinking. I think when we were kids, because me and you have good parents, right? Yeah. So they're always encouraging us and saying how good we are. And then that creates this thing. A long meander from the point I was making. But
no, I think that's really nice though as well. It's like a really good sort of life lesson that's really valuable to say, yeah, how you've improved is through this, this, and this. Did you also tag on at the end? It's like, look, your old ones were so rubbish. I've chucked them all in the bin.
Yeah, then, you know when I said I was going to put it on the fridge, I was only joking.
I actually burnt it.
Yeah,
couldn't stand the sight of it.
It made me sick.
So disappointed.
For the record, I do have a drawer in my desk of like this many pictures. They're just like endless pictures, so I do keep them. But yeah, I even have one here which starts out as a love heart. I don't know if you can see this on camera. And then it turns into quite an interesting shape. But yeah, so the point I was making is back to AI for routines and AI for other stuff. As I then start to use an AI for reflection or examining my worldview on something or why I behave a certain way, I feel comfortable to tell it everything. More comfortable than I am to tell another human. Well, now it's actually made me more comfortable to tell coaches or whatever about stuff because it's trained me to be open and honest with it.
Right. So that could, which is interesting because that kind of means a couple of things potentially in the future. One, that people will be way more comfortable talking to an AI therapist or an AI coach or whatever else. But yeah, at the same time, from your experience, just actually telling it the truth could help you in the future with coaching sessions or therapies or whatever else. It's almost like a training thing.
Yeah, and sometimes you think you have a bad habit, but it's not actually a bad habit. You think, oh, this thing I really need to stop. I shouldn't be doing this thing or whatever. And then you go through with like AI being super honest, and it will be like, well, why do you think that's a bad habit? Could it not be that it's this, right? And how often is this or whatever? Obviously, I'm talking, about like picking my nose and eating it or whatever. But yeah, joking aside, it's like there's all of these
whilst at the dinner table,
yeah,
in a fancy restaurant.
Yeah, it's another form of sustenance. You don't need to be too concerned. But I think AI has massive potential for that. And I mean, I use it for that. It's like, okay, if I want to get to 15% body fat, like what do I have to eat? And this is the equipment I have at home, and this is what I want to do at the gym. And even little things like I hate, well, everybody hates leg day, but every man hates leg day. And I spoke to ChatGPT and I said, listen, I don't really care about being a bodybuilder. I don't want to have big legs. My legs are already big enough, right? I'm happy with them. I just want them to be stronger. And I hate leg day. What should I do? It's like, oh, why don't you just go in and do 2 sets of like 5 reps on the heaviest weight you can handle? And then just go. So I've been doing that. So I go in and do the squat, the leg extensions, the hamstring curls, calf raises, and I think hip thrusts. And you just put it as heavy as you can handle and do like 5. And then that builds strength, not size. But what it means is I'm done with leg day in like 28 minutes. So I'm happy and I'm in the sauna. You know what I mean?
Chilling out.
I'm like, right, that's it. Legs are done. I'm in the sauna. And it makes me ache and have to recover just as much as it did when I was in there toiling away for an hour and hating every minute of it. You know?
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. Because I've done it before where I've done legs, and for part of it, I'll get like a couple of like maybe 15K dumbbells and then do like alternate sort of lunges. But that's such hard work. And you sort of do like 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps or something like that, but you're keeping going each side. And it's just like, it's really intense. And then you sort of go, okay, right, what should I do next? Right. Leg press. Okay, I'll do 3 sets of that, about 10 reps, something like that. And it's just such an epic day. By the time you've thrown in another like 3 exercises, it's like, oh man.
Yeah. And the thing is, all of these things are designed for bodybuilders. So normally in the past, you'd be going to blogs and trying to find stuff out and reading stuff and maybe patching things together with the odd YouTube video. But with ChatGPT, you can ask it further questions, right? So it's not just like in Google, you have one query and then you have to think of another query and then another query. And it doesn't know, or it never used to know, the path that you're on. But the AI can see the path and it can learn from what you're saying. And I think from a personal development routine planning tool, that's the real power of AI. It's not for producing content or pictures of me sat on Santa's knee or in a cute dress or whatever, you know.
Like some sort of Bill Clinton picture at Thingy's house. But anyway, but yeah. And I guess the thing is, well, ChatGPT has a memory, which is really cool. And there's that thing, I think, you showed me where, say if you're using Claude and you're doing projects, you can have that linked to like a Google Drive. So all of the output from a previous conversation, you can put in that Google Drive document. So if it's like a long conversation, the AI knows the whole length of that conversation.
Yeah.
And can keep you going down that road, that path.
Yeah, I actually have seen back to what you mentioned briefly. I've seen a non-redacted version of that image with Bill Clinton, and the guy in it looks a lot like you, but I won't share it with the viewers right now. I'll just save that for another day.
Nice. Okay.
So
in that case, I'll go download it, and that can be my Christmas cards for this year. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Excellent. Nobody wants to know where that cigar has been. Okay. So, a metal detectorist, which makes it sound much cooler than it is, in North Wales uncovered a huge Roman coin hoard. He found 2 buried pots and 15,000 coins, which are now heading for conservation and official treasure processes, right? So they're heading through this process. It's basically like 130 pounds in weight, or 59 kilos. And yeah, they're only like a 1.5 foot under the ground, or 1.5 feet under the ground, which is crazy. So I actually have a friend called Kai who, this is what he does. It's like his hobby is to go and find stuff and metal detect stuff and
nice.
Do like, yeah, all of this kind of vibe, which is always quite funny when I think back to the kind of 20s that we all had. And I remember he was as much of a party animal as like we are, and all crazy and stuff. And now his hobby is like walking around in fields with a metal detector. Middle age catches up with us all, ladies and gentlemen. There's no avoiding
one way or another.
Yeah. And joking aside, I have started looking at like remote control trucks and diggers and stuff, because I'd love an area where I can just do fake filling
like
up trucks,
a sand pit. Yeah,
and maybe a train going around the outside. Anyway, but so we digress. But this dude, is he going to get to keep this money, or does he just have to hand it all in? Like, what's the story there?
As far as I know, it all just gets like handed over, and then it will be put in a museum somewhere.
Do you reckon there was 16,000 coins?
Well, he said he found 2 pots. I think it could have been a few more pots than that.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 pots.
Not casting any shade on this metal detectorist at all, or making any accusations.
Yeah, David Moss, if you are watching, we're not saying that you stole any coins, but
he almost definitely didn't, because he's probably a metal detectorist. He does it for these kinds of reasons, and probably the buzz of actually finding this amazing piece of history is probably worth more to him in some ways than monetary value. Or maybe not, because I don't know. I mean, 59 kilos, you got to think maybe 50 of that is silver. What would you do with 50 kilos of silver if you found it?
Well, this is it. I was going to say to David Moss, if he has somehow got another pot somewhere, if he wants to send it to Temporally Scripted, we can help him with that. That process of
deciding if it's treasure or not.
yeah, that's it. But yeah,
I was just going to say, it's a funny thing as well, because like, whose money is it? I mean, I guess it was like some Roman dude 2,000 years ago, or a group of people. It was their money. And then what? Now is it whoever owns the land? Is it the British government? Is it David Moss's? I don't know. I think it should be finders keepers. I think David Moss should have all that treasure.
Yeah, well, I can't remember what the law is, but it's something like the British, like the Queen, basically, the Crown owns all of the UK once you get like a meter down or something. I can't remember the exact figure, but it's like, so when you have a deed to the land, you own like that much of it. And then below that, it's like it just belongs to the state, effectively.
I've never heard that before. That's really interesting.
Yeah, but this guy, this doesn't seem that deep. 46 centimeters, 1.5 feet.
It's not really. And so it had been there literally all these years, and just no one noticed it until this guy came along with his metal detector, and off we go. But yeah, it's must be crazy to find something like that. And I wonder what the story of it was as well, because why would you just take such a huge amount of money and just bury it?
Probably taxation, I would imagine. So there's some kind of taxation. I mean,
do you think Britain's always been the same?
Yeah, I mean, where was it found? Like North Wales, it said, but whereabouts in North Wales? Because if it's near the sea, potentially it's, I don't know. smuggled
pirate
in.
treasure?
Pirate treasure? I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
That is a thing, right? People, smugglers and stuff would bring stuff in and bury it and whatnot. So,
Or sometimes it can be times of turbulence as well, when you've got some kind of political turmoil. You don't know what's going to happen. Is there going to be some kind of invasion or battles? And so maybe you'd bury things just to hide them.
the Irish are on their way or something.
Yeah. Maybe. And so maybe whoever buried it, they got killed in some battle or something and never went to reclaim it and never told anybody where it was.
Didn't tell his wife. Wasn't sure if she was.
Of course not. She'd wasted on something.
Yeah, or getting knocked off by the local lord or something. He's like, as soon as they get here, you're going to do that. Yeah, but it's interesting. And apparently it's not the first time that David Moss has found a hoard. Maybe it was David Moss in a previous life and he's back and he just remembers where it is. And he's like, I'm going to go find
right.
it.
Yeah, it could be. It's not even using a metal detector.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just walking around beeping in the field.
Oh, right. Cool.
Oh, there it is. You know, there was 3 of them, but now there's only 2. But yeah, wild stuff. What a cool hobby. I mean, you see people going up and down the beach doing it, don't you? I wouldn't fancy doing metal detecting here. You probably find different metal objects buried under the ground here that you don't want to dig out.
Yeah, I saw something, I think it was just last week or week before, where they were getting rid of like an exploded bomb. So, yeah,
it's common. Right. It's common here, isn't it? For sure. Okay, where are we going next? So, next up on the list of stories.
Oh, is it something about a baker making people angry in Mexico?
Yeah, it was all about this British baker who has triggered the whole of Mexico by the sounds of it.
Maybe you kind of overdid it at the start when you said there's a potential war coming between Mexico and Britain.
Yeah, but before
maybe it's not that bad.
No, but before you leave, I mean, the Mexicans are very, very, very like particular and about their bread, so you can't rule it out. Okay. And if you were waiting for this story and you're now disappointed, just give us a like and a subscribe and an angry comment before you click off. And yeah, so this guy basically has looked at some bread and said that Mexicans don't have a bread culture. So, and that they make sandwiches in white, ugly rolls, and it's pretty cheap and industrially made. Now,
I mean, so he said this, and lots of people got really angry. But at the same time, Mexican bread, even by Mexicans, does get criticized for being industrialized and relies on white flour and refined sugar. So in some ways, it seems like he wasn't saying anything that other people hadn't said before. But I think it's because he's business
British
owner. Yeah, so... Well, it's because he is British, but also he's the co-founder of the Green Rhino Bakery in Mexico City. And I think what's happened is, and also this apparently resurfaced from something he said in the podcast a while back. So it's another one of those things you have to be careful what you say, because later you get more well-known and people can dig things up about you. So there's a little bit of that, but because... It's not looking good, is it really?
No.
But because he said these things, it's kind of sparked more of like a cultural kind of war. Not kinetic war, but in a way that there's so many people coming from other places to live in places like Mexico City. And then people from these places are like then criticizing like the national food or part of the national culture. And so I think this is a big part of it. It's probably less about the bread, but more about the actual culture. And people almost feel like being, maybe it's not the right word, but colonized or something.
Right. So it's the invasion of foreign bread that's the problem.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, okay. Well, I suppose the people have got to get their anger at foreign things in some way, and these days that's the only way that's allowed. You can be angry about the bread. Um, Personally, if somebody's bringing a better quality of some kind of food source to my country, I'm happy. But I would argue a tortilla's not bread.
Yeah, but it's kind of traditionally, I think it's cornbread because I think it comes from the Aztec and probably the Maya before then because they ground up corn, used them to make tortillas. They also made like cornbread and fry bread and things like that.
So cornbread's not allowed to be classed as bread. It's not. It's not part of this discussion. It's like a different
I think
classification.
it's more with like the flour sort of bread.
Right. I see. I see. So
Which
it's
I
a
mean,
very
historically, I guess like the Spanish would have brought their version of bread to Mexico, and that would be a big part of the history of since they started using flour. But yeah, like I said, I think a lot of it's about this thing of someone coming to your country and then criticizing your country, and it's like, well, if you don't like it, go and eat your own bread somewhere else.
I mean, that's pretty much what everybody does that goes to the UK, isn't it? That's like basically how
Kinda.
it goes down. It's like you go there and say how crap the food is and how, oh, look at this thing that's like a scotched egg. I've seen videos of people eating it and going, oh, there's an egg inside this. It's like, don't start coming over here and saying stuff about our food, you know?
Do you ever remember the TV show Goodness Gracious Me?
Yeah, yeah,
And it was done by like Indian people.
yeah.
And one of the sketches they had like people who say, "Oh, I'm going out for an Indian tonight," like to an Indian restaurant. They had, "Oh, we're going out for an English," and it's like, "Oh, okay." And it's like talking to the waiter. "Oh, what's the blandest thing you have on the menu?"
Yeah, yeah. Which I think is unfair. I think we had armies march to every corner of the globe on a scotched egg and a sausage roll. So
Some pie and
you know,
mash.
yeah. If your food's that good, why did it never get you marching anywhere? You're too busy on the toilet to go anywhere else. Anyway, so moving on to our favorite segment every week, I think is this part when we go a little bit down the track of something a little bit interesting and wild related to animals. So the world has got an oldest pet worm.
It sure does, which is breathtaking news. Essentially, I couldn't believe it when I saw this. I had to sit down.
Look at my face. There's a 27-year-old worm.
Which that is really old.
Yeah, yeah. And it's got a really good name. Basiodiscus the eldest.
Yeah, also known as B.
For sure.
Yeah. And yeah, it's the oldest ribbon worm on record with a minimum age estimate of 27 years, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. So apparently some biology professor, John Allen, from the College of William and Mary in Virginia, the worm came into his care in 2005 and was at least 7 years old then. And
wow.
Since then, he's just looked after it, and now it's the oldest one on record.
That's wild. I mean, came into his care. Ah. Hello, little wormy.
Yeah, kind of like you're adopting some stray kitten or lost puppy or something.
That's crazy. Apparently, these ribbon worms, they're known for this sort of level of craziness because once there was one found in Scotland that was 180 feet in length.
Yes, because they live in the sea. 180 feet might be a little bit longer than actual. I think that is contended, but there's definitely been ones of like around 100 feet, so 30 meters.
That's a big old worm.
Yeah, just floating around in the sea somewhere.
And is it like a normal worm where if you chop it in half, both halves survive and they just go off and do their own thing?
I don't know, and I don't know if that's a myth or not.
Well, I feel really, really guilty if it's a myth because
Because you'd be
chopped a lot
cutting
of
it in
worms.
half, like halfway through its digestive tract. So I don't know if it would one part of it turn into a new mouth, or I don't know.
Is this one of those things that you hear when you're in the playground and you carry it with you for
Maybe just there with a pair of scissors and a worm, and just all right, I've made 36 worms.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, worm kind.
Because I guess if it was that easy, then maybe it depends on the worm. But if it was that easy, they wouldn't reproduce. They'd just find a way to separate themselves in the middle.
Yeah, I think this is a myth. I feel like I should take some worms into care to kind of make amends.
I think you should.
For previous genocidal tendencies towards worms.
Yeah, and see if you can keep them for 27 years or more. Then you too could be a world record holder.
Fantastic. So as promised, me and Adam have been looking at birds on cruises. Don't feel like you have to reach out to our partners and let them know about it, because it's not that kind of bird. There's a couple of burrowing There's a couple of burrowing owls on a cruise. And apparently they went from the US to Barcelona, basically, on a Royal Caribbean cruise. And I don't even know if they had to pay, so they must have been a couple of fit birds.
Wow, that's that's great.
Is there a possibility that they could, like, these two owls could disrupt the Spanish wildlife scene, rolling over with their Americanness
accents?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's always a danger of that, because we've seen. I guess the thing is with owls, they're not like a particularly dangerous invasive species, but you never know. Things can happen, and there's problems with that all over the world. So say in like Florida, people had pet pythons and things like that, which are non-native, but then a lot of them escaped and then they reproduced. And now in the Everglades, we have this huge problem with like pythons that originally were pets. Or you have the thing in, the funniest ones are in Australia, where they kind of introduced different animals to solve a problem, but then didn't solve the problem, reproduced loads, and then you ended up with almost a plague, kind of like cane toads and things like that. They're originally from India. And they went, okay, well, these things eat, I think it was like a certain kind of fly that was bad for some crops. So they're like, we'll just introduce a load of cane toads into this place. It'll be fine. But when they tested, they did eat flies, but they only ate dead flies. They didn't get them to like catch flies or anything. So then it turned out that they introduced all these toads and still had a problem with flies, but now also had a problem with like a shitload of toads everywhere that are really massive and damage other bits of the wildlife. It's just kind of funny.
Did they not hear this song?
What song?
About the girl that swallowed a fly and then she swallowed a spider and it went down inside her.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
They should have already known what was going to happen.
They should have done. Maybe that song wasn't around at the time. I don't know.
Yeah, because she's like swallowing cats and then a dog, and then it just got ridiculous.
Got to like a horse or something, I think.
Poor girl had a zoo running around inside her.
Right? Yeah.
And then I think eventually she died just because of, over ingestion of various things. She could have just kept the fly in there. So yeah, it's nuts. I guess that makes sense of why they're so strict now in Australia when people are bringing stuff in. If you ever watch the Border Patrol stuff and it's like some Chinese or Vietnamese in the airport and they're like, have you got anything you shouldn't have? No. Anything in the bag, anything at all. If you tell us now, it's fine. We'll just take it off you. But if you don't tell us, we're going to deport you and fine you. No, I've got nothing in there. And then they open the bag and there's like 5 ducks.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, I
thought that was all right.
That bag. Oh, I thought you meant this bag. There's nothing in this bag, and then they open that bag, and it's like got a bear bile thing in there or whatever.
And yeah, I've watched like the TV show in Spain that's like that, and it's just really funny. Sometimes you'll have this thing, and they'll be like, anything to declare? No. I open the suitcase and it's literally just be full of like crabs and seafood, and some of it's still moving and stuff. And you're like, how the hell are you even taking that? And does it not go bad?
Well, that's why it's still moving. You've got to leave it alive, because if you try and travel with seafood you've already killed, that's it. You're not going to get anywhere with that. So, yeah, I think it's also a big problem in the UK. Like, for example, grey squirrels are not native to the UK, and because they're bigger and more dominant than the red squirrels, they bullied them out of their food and stuff, and that's caused us real problems with red squirrels. So I think because in Victorian times it was really popular to bring plants and animals and stuff from other countries, and
because it was kind of exotic and cool and all that kind of thing. Oh yeah, this is nice. And what damage could it do? It looks really nice.
Yeah, because they say the same about if you have a budgie and then it gets out, even if it's like the summer, it will get killed by the other birds because it's so brightly coloured. So the other birds will like bully it and take it out, which is, nature's way.
It's pretty rough.
It is. But that brings us to the final segment of our show. And because it is our festive, temporally scripted, we've got our festive, temporally scripted top 5 Christmas blunders. So, Adam, take us away with this week's blunders.
Yeah, okay. So, top 5 Christmas blunders. Right. Number 1, which I thought was quite a cool one, comes from all the way back in 1955 on Christmas Eve in Colorado Springs. So there was a newspaper ad in Sears, and it invited kids to call Santa. And so I guess the idea was they could call it and there'd be someone on the other end and it would be Santa, apparently. But they misprinted the number. And so instead of them calling the toy department, the calls went to something called CONAD, which sounds like something even more funny. But anyway, which is the Cold War Air Defense Command Center, which later became NORAD. But yeah, so a colonel picked it up and they heard this child was just asking, where's Santa? Where's Santa? So he just played along with it. And so they started tracking Santa on their radar screens. And you might have heard of it before. It became like a Christmas tradition from then on, and they still do it today.
I didn't know that's where it came from, but that's really, really cool. I like that they were tracking it, and at least, with the American military being how they are, they didn't say that they'd shot him out of the air. So
we've nuked him. Sorry, kids, no Christmas
Sorry,
this
kids.
year.
What's that? Send a nuke? Yeah, okay. Just 1 second. Oh, you didn't say send a nuke. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't say. Oh no. But yeah, it's just like it's a really cool sort of PR thing as well that just came about completely accidentally.
I will be tracking Santa tomorrow. That's for sure.
That sounds pretty good to me.
I'm excited for tracking Santa tomorrow. Go on.
Okay, well, the next one was in 2011 in Norway. So it was just before Christmas. And basically, Norway ran out of butter. And it was caused by a mix of bad weather. There was a drop in milk production. And people changing the diets as well away from butter, I guess more into things of like seed oils and stuff like that. And there was tariffs as well. But this meant that like supermarket shelves were empty and no one could get any butter to bake traditional Christmas things. So the places that did sell butter, it became unbelievably expensive. And then you also had black market butter apparently online. Mm-hmm. And people were even caught smuggling butter across the border with Sweden. So it became like you'd literally have like butter dealers and things like that, and you'd pay like a huge amount of money just for excuse me, got any of that?
got any Lurpak, mate?
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps the British should have taken this opportunity to send them some butter so they stopped sending us such a shit Christmas tree every year.
Yeah.
It could have been an
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah, so send them some margarine. Oh dear, that would be that could cause war for sure. Okay, what's up next?
Right. This was also quite good. Domino's Japan and the reindeer delivery fiasco. So this was in 2016 in Hokkaido, Japan. So Domino's thought, they came up with this idea. They thought, how cool would it be if at Christmas we could have pizza delivered by real reindeer pulling sleighs? Because it gets sunny in Hokkaido, and thought this would be amazing. So apparently they tried it, and the training footage shows staff trying to like strap pizza boxes to reindeers, but like the reindeer immediately shake them off and get angry or bolt into fields or get spooked by dogs. So they tried it for like a week, but they quietly scrapped the plan, admitting that it was difficult to control for reindeer, then switched to scooters dressed up in reindeer cosplay instead.
That's the most Japanese story I've ever heard. I mean, wow. How did they think that was going to go?
I don't know, but it left people saying things like, well, you can imagine them coming up with this idea in like an office around a table, but it's like, have any of you guys ever seen an animal before or know how animals behave? Do any animals like having pizza boxes strapped to them? Like, kind of, what were you thinking?
You'd think there'd be a hygiene issue there as well, wouldn't you? I mean, you eating your pizza and it's like, they weren't reindeer pizza. I mean, that would be cool.
Oh, but it wouldn't be very nice for reindeer, would it?
You better deliver this pizza, otherwise you're next.
Otherwise you'll be one.
You're next. This is what happened to the last one who wouldn't let us strap a pizza box to it. Better deliver it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what's next?
The next one was the Christmas ad that fed pudding to the dog. So this is 2012, Morrison's in the UK. So they did an ad, and there's like a stressed mum dealing with all the festive chaos. But in one scene, there's like the boy just slips a little bit of Christmas pudding to the dog and the table. But this caused like a load of vets and animal charities to call the UK advertising regulators because if you feed raisins and sultanas to dogs, it can potentially be toxic. And so they were saying that the ad would kind of promote this and it could be really unhealthy, which, yeah, maybe.
Now, I think you know how I feel about dogs, so I'm not going to alienate our audience any further by giving my commentary on this particular thing.
Yeah, and so you always have like at least 12 Christmas puddings outside of your house all the way through the year just for passing dogs.
And a pocket full of sultanas. Yeah. Well, I don't, but I will now.
Oh, geez, good.
And what's last up before we wrap up for Christmas?
The last one is my favorite. And this happened for quite a while between like the late 90s and I guess early 2000s. And it was mainly to do with like video rental shops and TV broadcasts. So in 1998, there was a film released called Jack Frost, where it's a heartwarming family film where Michael Keaton dies, but comes back as a snowman and learns how to be a better dad, which is quite nice. That's a really nice idea for a movie. However, a year earlier, in 1997, an ultra-cheap Christmas horror had been made about a serial killer who becomes a murderous snowman and goes on a killing spree. This was also called Jack Frost. So there was a lot of confusion about this, and you can imagine, especially in the days of like Blockbuster Video and things like that, it's like, oh, it's Christmas time. What should I go? Oh, I'll order Jack Frost, please. And so, yeah, you'd settle down for that nice family movie on, I don't know, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, and then just see this snowman go on a killing spree and hack people to death. I don't know.
I know what movie my kids are watching tonight.
It will be called Jack Frost, but who knows which one.
Merry Christmas. Wow, I love that. That's an awesome top 5, so thank you very much. Guys, if you've got through to this far, make sure you give us a like and a subscribe and even a cheeky comment at the bottom to wish us a happy Christmas. Temporally Scripted, what a year it's been. We've released almost 40 episodes. We've got plenty more planned next year. 2026 is going to be a big one. We're going to push ourselves from 26 subscribers to at least 30 over the next 12 months ahead. We've got big ambitions for the channel. But thank you.
That is a lot of ambition.
Yeah, thanks, Adam, for all of this year and for getting us to where we are. And happy Christmas to you, my friend, and happy Christmas to the viewers.
Yeah, well, same. Thank you. It's been a great year, as I'm sure our viewers can tell. And yeah, we'll look forward to the next one. So Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas to everybody at home.
See you next time.
Bye.